Welcome to you all on this beautiful spring morning. Thanks for setting aside some of your precious time to be here and explore together. This is the Unitarian Congregation of Guelph's Beltane service. And my name is Rebecca Jameson. I'm co-leading the service today with Lauren Stein, Linda Reith, and Taya Lauermeyer. And thank you to Carrie McDonald and Margie Johnson for technical support and welcoming support. At UCG, we strive to be an inclusive community, cultivating diversity in ages, genders, sexual orientation, and race. And we welcome all who come in search of truth and meaning. We are Earth. Wherever we are on Turtle Island, Indigenous peoples have been here for thousands of years and have much to teach us about walking a good path on the earth and with one another. This morning, please take a moment to breathe and appreciate the many beautiful gifts that Mother Earth shares with us. There's a lot of green popping out there. It's wonderful. We encourage everyone present to look for ways to give back to and care for the earth. Guelph is on the ancestral lands of the Michisaw-Geek of New Credit First Nations, who have lived here since time immemorial. In our communities right now are people from many Indigenous cultures, including the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, Mohawk, Chippewa, Métis, and Inuit. We express gratitude for the sharing of these lands. We also acknowledge the injustices and pain suffered by First Peoples as a result of harmful colonial policies. As we each learn more about reconciliation and ways to dismantle colonialism and systemic oppression, we take up our responsibility to build better relationships with Indigenous peoples and the land. We are pleased to have you here with us in our Zoom service today and invite you to stay on to chat after the service. The Unitarian Congregation of Guelph has a shared ministry led by all members, which means that people contribute their unique gifts in many ways to our community, including planning and leading weekly services like this. Since every service is different, we encourage you to come a few times to get a sense of what we're all about. Make sure to sign up and read the weekly email newsletter and reach out if you have any questions. I will have our announcements at the end of today's service. Our service today is founded on our first Unitarian principle, the inherent worth and dignity of each person. Every one of us is inherently, we are enough, just as we are. And each of us have innate gifts that we are born with, as well as skills that we have learned and developed with practice. We all have something to give to the world and the people around us, and we all benefit from the gifts that we receive from others. This is partly what a shared ministry is all about. UCG is in the process of developing our individual and collective understanding of what it means to have a shared ministry. At Beltane, we have an opportunity to make clearer commitments to what we value and what we are willing to put our energy into. Traditionally, it's a time when people wake up the earth by dancing or singing, weave their intentions around a maypole, or leap over fires and declare their commitments for the coming year. Although we can't meet in person and there are challenges all around, we are not powerless. And today we are symbolically leaping over fires together. We can still declare what is important to us and where we want to focus our attention. Later on, we'll be going into some breakout rooms to reflect on what helps you contribute to the UCG and what shuts you down. But first, let us light our chalice. If you have your own nearby, that would be great. Let's start first by taking a deep breath and noticing where our bodies are connected to the floor, to the earth. Feel yourself supported and held by the earth, by gravity, and the many mysterious forces that exist. Deep down in the center of the earth is a molten core of hot, liquid iron. Let's pull up some of that energy from the earth and bring it into our bodies and mix it with the iron in our blood. This morning, as we light our chalice to enter sacred space, I invite each of you to send some of your personal energy to help light the flame. Imagine that some of your life force is helping to spark and lift this flame together, a sharing of your energy mingled with everyone else. In this flame, we witness the power of transformation. Awed again by the wonder of life, we are grateful to be vital to this living universe and inspiring community.
Our opening words this week are from an unabridged quote by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are we not to be? Your playing small does not serve the world. This is nothing enlightened. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Our first song is number 1051 in our songbook called We Are, and it is sung by the UU General Assembly Virtual Choir.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
This is usually the time where we take the offering in our service. Please take a moment to acknowledge and give thanks for all the many ways that people support the UCG with their participation, from keeping in touch with fellow congregants to generously donating their time and talents to keep our services, programs, and building running. Thank you. Our congregation thrives because of the commitment of so many among you. And even in these strange times, UCG's financial needs continue to pay our staff and keep the building maintained. So your continued financial support is deeply appreciated. Our website has instructions for how you can make your tax-deductible donation before the end of the year. Thank you.
For our story of all ages, I'm going to tell a story that has been told in many places and many times in different ways. So I will tell my own version for this moment. There was a woman who came to a town and she didn't know anyone and she didn't have what to eat. So she went and asked people, is there, can you bring me a meal? And they said, well, you know, I would, but I'm busy. You know, I have kids, I have parents, I'm rushing around. I can't just come and give you food. Good luck. So, okay, so this happened many times over the course of a day. And then finally, she just brought out, she had her own cauldron. And in the center of town, she put in a big stone into it. And she created a fire under the cauldron. And it was burning and boiling, and the rising steam from the cauldron caught some attention. And some curious passersby stopped and asked, what are you making? And she said, oh, it's this fabulous stone soup from where I come. It's the most delicious thing you've ever heard of. And they said, really? And she said, yes. And this cauldron is bigger than I can eat. You know, there's going to be enough to share. I said, really? I can have some of this stone soup? Well, you know, let me help. I'm not just a schnorrer. I want to contribute. So one person said, I have some extra carrots. Let me go home and bring. And another person says, oh, I have these onions, more than I can eat. Let me go and bring that. And another person, I have a celery. And another person, oh, I have oregano and thyme. I grow my own herbs. Everyone ran around bringing one ingredient. And the next thing you know, this stone soup, there was enough to share for all. And she said, just bring your own bowl. And she served everyone a bowl full of this delicious stone soup. And they all said, this is marvelous. And they sat around because they were allowed to in this time and place. And they ate with each other and laughed and said, this is the best. I'm going to have to, what's the recipe? What's the magic behind this stone soup? I want more. And she said, aha, well, you can have it anytime. We'll gather around and collectively we can make this stone soup anytime you'd like. And I want to share that it's not just for one time or one place, but that story is ours as well. And in transitioning from lay-led to a shared ministry of a congregation, my invitation to every one of you here is, what would you like to bring to the stone soup that we are all making? That might be your humor, that might be your presence, that might be your ability to listen to another person or contribute ideas. It might be your ability to pick up groceries for someone or to make masks or whatever it is. I invite you to write in the chat, what is one thing that you are bringing to this congregation? And you might be afraid, what's the right thing? Don't worry, you can bring more things later, but just to start, put one word or phrase. So we have people who bring yearning, humor, fun, presence, kindness, curiosity, an open heart, my desire and practice to see you, so bona. Curiosity, space for deep listening and learning, experience, support, listening, my smile, empathy, togetherness, music, participation in community. Thank you, and keep them coming. And with all of these flavors and ingredients, together, we make this community. And to continue on that theme of shared ministry, we're now going to share leadership with music and dancing. I invite each of you to turn on your camera, and we're going to play a happy song, which is so important because in these times, all kinds of emotions and events are happening, and yet we still have access also to happiness and to dancing. And as we play, we'll invite each of you you will be spotlit for 10 seconds, and you can lead a dance, like whatever it is. And the rest of us will all copy your dance movement when you're a spotlit. So we all get to take turns in leadership as we play Follow the Leader. And even if it's just standing in stillness, this is your chance to have a little body break and for us to dance together. Feel free to either get up or stay in your chair, as you wish.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey, bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high, bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, tell you now, bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high, bring me down, can't none bring me down. I said, clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't none bring me down. Your love is too high, bring me down, can't none because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Come on.
Well, that's fun. I loved all the range of motion that we got up to and the tools that we brought to play together. So, hooray. I want to talk a little bit about shared ministry just before we move into breakout rooms to connect with each other. And I want to start with when I was growing up, because I went to church very regularly. It was just required, really, to be part of the family and expected within the community. And I went dutifully and humbly, expecting to be guided toward redemption, hoping my sins would be forgiven. The minister was the ultimate source of that guidance. Those Sunday school teachers, elders, choir directors all carried the mandate. Unitarian Universalism turns that contract on its head. We arrive at the door with dignity and worth. As Rebecca said at the beginning, we are enough. We have nothing to prove, just freedom to be. That revolution is key to everything we are, and it is very difficult and exciting to embody. Often we mix the message, outwardly claiming egalitarianism and equal opportunity, and inwardly expecting someone else to be in charge, to endorse us, to actually make things happen. Here at UCG, we have for years proudly declaimed that we are lay-led, which could be heard as rejection of the trappings of the minister, whether we meant it that way or not. Yet we yearned for the depths of knowledge and skill associated with the process of ordination. We had a sense of potential unfulfilled and wondered if leadership was the key. Meanwhile, ministry, formal ministry, was undergoing its own revolution across the whole Unitarian Universalist community, and we were collectively moving to an understanding that the power of living the revolution, the power is in living that revolution more fully. Fulfilling our potential as a transformative community and member of the full civil society in which we live happens when we all commit to being the answer. 6 people gathered in a living room and agreed to found the Guelph Unitarian Fellowship. Imagine their delight if they were able to see the richness that has grown from their beginning. When they were 6, shared ministry was obvious. Each of the 6 got involved in creating the fellowship according to their skills, aptitudes, and dreams. They did what they loved, and the enthusiasm was magnetic. Being part of this fellowship meant being enlivened by a vision and a joint effort that lifted everyone, encouraged each to say yes to all their possibilities. Of course, there was hesitancy, but it was overcome partly because there was no chance to convince oneself that someone else should do it, that someone else would do it better. The fellowship evolved as new people joined. Music became a regular part of getting together because People came who loved to sing. More ritual informed the fellowship as people who loved lighting candles joined the group. All this evolved within the scaffolding of the CUC and the larger Unitarian Universalist reality. The 7 principles, the 6 sources allowed cooperation and initiative because everyone knew the core of the existence of the fellowship. There was consensus not only on the foundations, but also the norms of behavior, because the participants had much in common, being white, highly educated, mature, and middle-class people. It was wonderful to have that cohesion and difficult to notice the ways in which it limited us. Now, I'm serving as president of our board. 35 years ago, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Board meetings would start at 7:30 or 8, and regularly, went to midnight because people loved to talk, to discuss. There was no way a mother of 3 young children could get involved, even if I had the patience, which I didn't. It took some work to recognize the exclusivity flowing from the operating assumptions of the group. That work is ongoing. We need to continually break ourselves open so we can emerge again. We need perspective to see how we get in our own way, and that comes at least partially from a more profound sense of ownership from all of us. Let us take ourselves to heart and offer to participate as fully as we are drawn to do, knowing that our passions, our uniqueness, contribute to the vitality of UCG. Let Anka's pleasure in connecting egg purchasers with egg producer and generating precious funding for UCG be our template. Let Diana's fascination with how groups work and ideas change inspire us to pick up our passion. Last Sunday, Kerry brought together a braid of his passions, and we were all blessed by the Marvin Gaye introduction to the theme of being accomplices in anti-Black racist work. We are working to create a structure that facilitates initiative and helps us cooperate in ways that honor our capacity and our joy. And that's key to shared ministry. So we're going to ask you to move into breakout rooms and just talk about what makes it possible for you to say yes and get involved, and what constricts you, what constrains you. Both those are pieces of the solution of the puzzle of our growth and enrichment. So let's go into breakout room, please.
Thoughts and reflections. Is it actually about 11:20? So we don't have, we're going to have a discussion after, and if we want to share some of what came up there, I would encourage you all to participate in the discussion so we can go a little bit deeper into our experiences. But at this moment, we'd like to invite you to participate now in a brief ritual of commitment to our shared ministry. So if you could take a moment, place your hands on your heart, and invite you to repeat after me as you are able, as you are willing. I am enough. I am a vital part of this community. I commit to bringing my energy to UCG. My contribution matters. We value and we need each person in this community. and we honor people's choice to give what they can when they can. Blessed be. I'm just going to, I took all the words from the chat about things that people were willing to share, and I made a little word art here, so you can have us see it, what we can create together. And as we know, we're creating things all the time, and it's evolving. As again, Margie brought up in our other group, often in the giving, we receive so much. And again, we invite you to bring what you can when you can, and to take what you need when you need it. So thank you, everyone. We're going to end with the song number 318, We Would Be One.
We would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to that high cause of greater understanding of who we are and what in us is true. We would be one in living for each other, to show to all a new community. We would be one in building for tomorrow, a nobler world than we have known today. We would be one in searching forth and leading, which finds our hearts and points us on our way. As one we pledge ourselves to greater service, with love and justice, strive to make us
Thank you again for your presence today and for sharing your precious time and energy. May you feel valued, connected, and heard. In a moment, when we extinguish the chalice, allow your energy to disconnect from this flame while remembering that we were always deeply connected. And our closing words today are by two great inspirations. Sammy Davis Jr., who said, "You always have two choices, your commitment versus your fear." And from Abraham Lincoln, "Commitment is what transforms a promise into a reality." So the words to extinguish the chalice are in the chat. We gather to light this chalice. We part the flame lit within us, an inspired community.